Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're leveling up from simple if-else checks to something even cleaner when you have a handful of specific options. C#'s switch statement. Let's dive in. Why should we use a switch statement when C# already provides if and else? Well, with a switch statement, you can write cleaner code using fewer lines than you would with long if-else statements. Another benefit of switch statements is that they're easier to read when you're choosing among many fixed values. And finally, you gain certain performance improvements when you use switch statements instead of if-else statements. Imagine you're using a TV remote with dozens of channel buttons. Writing an if for every channel. If it's channel 1, do this. If it's channel 2, do that, would be a hassle. A switch is like having each button mapped neatly, so when you press 5, it goes straight to channel 5's code block. Here's the basic pattern. You switch on an expression, often a variable. Then each case label checks for one specific value. When it matches, C# runs the code until it hits a break, which jumps you out of the switch. And if nothing matches, the default block runs. Let's revisit the code we wrote in the previous if and else video. Let's see if we can convert this code to a switch statement. Here, I've written a switch statement on the weather variable. Then, in case 1, I specify that if weather equals 1, the code before the break statement will execute. I'm writing the same code we saw in the last video. The only difference is that here I'm using a switch statement instead of the if and else keywords. Also notice the syntax as well. After writing the switch on the weather variable, I am writing the case 1, then a colon, and then the code which I want to be executed when the value of weather is 1. Let's do the same for the other conditions as well, namely, for weather values 2 and 3. Now, when I run this program, I will see it's raining, grab an umbrella on console. When I assign to as the value of weather and run, I can see time for glasses on console. And if I change the weather value to 3, I can see maybe jacket written on the console. What if there's no match? Well, C# provides a default case for that. It works like the final else. If nothing else matches, the code inside the default block is executed. Let's add a default block to this switch statement. If weather has any value other than those specified in the cases above, the code inside this block will execute. Here, if there is no match, the console will print, "Better stay home." I'll set the weather variable's value to 7, which doesn't match any case in the switch statement. When I run the program, you can see "Better stay home" printed on the console. We can also group multiple cases to execute a single block of code. For example, if weather is cloudy or windy, the program should suggest picking a jacket. Here, I am assuming if weather value is 4, it's windy outside. To group multiple cases together, simply write an additional case label directly below the case you want to combine. Here, it means that if the weather variable's value is 3 or 4, this block will execute. Remember our TV remote analogy. A switch is like lining up all the channel buttons in front of you, pick one, and you instantly jump to that code path. Use a switch statement when 1. You're checking a fixed set of values, use switch instead of chained if-else statements. 2. You want a cleaner, more readable structure than a long if-else block. 3. If you need performance benefits in switch blocks, execution jumps directly to the matching case instead of evaluating every condition in sequence. When to choose if and else statement. 1. If you want to execute complex conditions, like combining multiple checks in a single statement, You'd use an if with logical operators. Example, if age is greater than or equal to 18 and has license, only then allowed to rent a car. 2. Use if and else blocks when you need to check value ranges. Like if score is greater than or equal to 90, if age is greater than or equal to 18. 3. Use if and else when you want to check for Boolean values or flags. Like if it's raining outside, if it is a valid value, if he has license. That's a wrap. Today you learned how Switch organizes multiple fixed value checks into a clean, readable structure. You've seen syntax, examples, case grouping, and when to pick switch versus if.